Marty, Lorraine, and then two other staff.
That's Maria will join us and Jamie.
Right, Rain and Jamie. Good group. We really focused on the date this last time, knowing that we can't get too much further with planning anything without an actual timeline. So we spent a lot of time talking about the best time of year, the best time of week, weekday versus weekend. Summer was immediately kind of off the table, given all the events that are going on in the summer that we don't want to compete with. We also thought about not competing with the Concord potential opening next fall 25. That's sort of the tentative schedule for that. And we really didn't want to have some competing event as well. So we started to narrow down to the spring itself. And then that's where we started to really talk about weekday versus weekend. Who's the intended audience for this, right? If we're trying to bring in new people, weekdays are really can be difficult. However, a lot of our regulars are here on a weekday as well. So you get that kind of built in, at least there's some people here, because we don't know how this is gonna go, right? So we found a professional development day that is a Friday that most students will be out of school for. Friday, May 16th, I believe was the day we tentatively circled. And again, that's a professional development day, so kids will be out of class, which we thought was really important for attracting families with children. That's a really big audience that we want to reach out to as part of this event. And then we started to talk a little bit about actually like programming, tabling, activities, etc. We're going to really get into more detail about that now that we have a little bit more understanding of the timeline itself. Anything to add there, my fellow committee members or Marty?
Yeah, with Russ. That's done pretty well.
Discussion about the date, then I like the idea that it's a day that there's no school, because that would seem important.
Yeah.
Especially it's a day where there's not any school, not for a big holiday, so that's important. How does that fit with the?
Well, that's the only thing is that that would be the day that we'd be setting up for our Italian dinner, because that's on the 17th.
In May?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get that one. We were worried about festive,
Yeah,
But that's check with Michelle.
I did right after that meeting.
Oh, okay.
But that's what you're.
So I had some preliminary talk with Stan, trying to figure out if there was a way to do them both in that weekend or combine it somehow. I don't know how, or take one of them and do it a different weekend, but I do think we should probably settle that right now.
The open house supposed to be all day, or is it a couple of like?
The open house?
Yeah.
3 hours?
3 hours?
3 hours, yeah.
At what time of the day?
we did discuss hours kind of roughly.
Like 2 to 5.
Later afternoon, early evening, so it
So
wasn't
we're
quite,
not during a meal time.
so yeah, people wouldn't expect an Italian dinner or hot dogs or something like that.
For food, we're like cake.
I mean,
Well, could it work if it were earlier in the day? Is that,
our,
function
And then
good?
you could do coffee that way and do like a coffee and cake.
You don't get
Yeah, I don't know if we'd even feed them.
yeah, we were trying to target the later afternoon because kids are out of school, so,
Oh, they're gonna sleep late.
well, yeah, I mean, regardless of that, it's also a thing for parents thinking to do with their kids, but also then people that maybe are working. We were trying to capture that later, that working population potentially. Yeah. And it was a magic date because there was that
Yeah,
NCSD, school day. I mean, it's a 3-hour window, would be a great last minute bump to promote Italian dinner
That's a
for
good
people coming in.
Sign up for the
Come
dinner.
back.
2-for-1s or 10% off or something. I mean, I don't know how to magic answer to that.
Right.
I didn't realize that when we had our discussion, but.
Logistically, though.
So when we're talking about setup, if we had the post 45th anniversary, we had the tables and chairs set up to what you needed for county night. Could you do the other decorations, the more aesthetic decorations that morning before county night? Or the afternoon before county night? I guess that's how much would that put you off? Not, we had our maintenance staff basically set the room.
You'd have to block off the room that's set for the dinner, wouldn't you?
No, we said after, so basically I'm saying if we had this event and ended at 5 and when janitorial came in the evening. They would set up, basically take a 45th anniversary setup and then reset it to.
Change tablecloths kind of thing, I mean,
What do
obviously, more than that.
what are you looking to set up as with the?
Not a lot, probably, I don't know, we've got there, but they'll probably be
Pretty simple.
pretty simple, yeah. So it's not gonna be a big reset, but
Well, and
if when you came in here on, say, Saturday at 3, if all you had to do with that, not all, it's still a lot.
Oh, that's a lot to do in an
It
hour.
is the
right,
tablecloths and the,
Have we
all that
looked at delaying the Italian dinner?
I don't know, that's.
Or shall we do,
Because we're not bound to
we
that.
haven't started to advertise that.
We
yet.
haven't, the only,
well, and
they only made us set it that far out because they said they were gonna be putting out the
The
guide.
guy was even out.
Which isn't.
What if it were the week before or after?
Well, the week before that's Mother's Day.
Yeah.
The night, day before Mother's Day.
And I think the week after was potentially, yes, a little bit.
Well, yeah, we decided December 14th.
Oh.
Or September, sorry, September.
September,
Oh,
so.
so-
May,
It's Memorial Day is the next.
So, yeah, and even
Oh, I'm
and
confusing,
school
sorry.
out being, yeah, when. school-
We had a lot
yeah.
of discussion about
'Cause there's
that, sorry.
There's a school day that's, no school day that day.
Right, because the next weekend is Memorial Day weekend.
The issue is,
Yeah,
I guess. the
that's why There was a reason we landed right at that date in May for some
the
reason.
next weekend after the 16th is
Yeah,
Memorial Day.
really.
Mother's Day
It
and
must be coming early,
It's really early.
yeah.
And you don't wanna get too close into June, that's just too, that's also getting close to, there we go. So that wouldn't.
What about the third,
Of May,
the 3rd of May?
May 3,
It depends on
winter,
Michelle,
winter.
what she's doing. I tried to book the mahjong tournament. The Monday after we had it on the Saturday, and next year was already booked.
oh,
That's a good point now.
that is, isn't it? Yeah.
May 3rd.
So May 3rd, how does that work for everything and everyone?
I mean,
For what?
For the Italian dinner,
keeping the 16th.
and the 16th because kids are out of school.
yeah,
And it's
we
not a
just have to
major
find out if
holiday.
there's-
It's
available.
not the type of holiday, especially right before right before Memorial Day and after Mother's Day, it's not the type of day when families would go somewhere for a 3-day weekend. Might be some, but I mean, not.
Well, yeah, they would be keeping our fingers crossed, maybe it's nice weather so that you could have.
Oh, yeah, May should be.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do we want to check?
Very-
So we read
yeah,
this
we-
in advance or anything?
Yeah,
I'm trying to get logged in too, but.
Yeah, I was trying to too.
It's not working out.
Oh, I can try, I can do it on my computer.
Oh, yeah.
what are you gonna do? Check their
I'm just gonna
overall
check,
calendar?
yeah, it's in the
Okay,
graphic,
great.
if anyone's put anything in. today.
Well, because that's, aside from our cabling and then,
Down your potential demos.
and then tables for cake. And, or whatever else, I mean, we're not serving like,
No,
we're not using the space for
Normally,
significant meal stuff.
normally though, as soon as everything's over in that afternoon,
Yeah.
is when we'd be setting up,
I got it.
we'd be setting up and
Yeah.
decorating, so that we don't have to
No, I
do a
understand.
huge
Totally.
long day on Saturday.
Yeah, that makes sense, that makes total sense.
And that's also when we can get NCPRD's help to
Staff.
set up the tables.
No, that makes total sense.
Yeah. And and depending on what Sarah finds out, May 3rd would still work for all of those factors where you.
Yeah, no,
on May
it just-
2nd,
it-
you'd
it
be
puts
setting
me-
up.
It puts me a little closer back, a little closer to, cause I was scheduling my events out, so I had a
Yeah.
little space.
Yeah.
And I have the housing fair. I think it's like the 17th or 18th of April,
Mhm.
Yeah,
and I was just
You
trying to
lose
space
that
things
1
out,
week buffer.
And housing fair's the 17th.
yeah. That's okay. Housing fair doesn't take as much. I mean, it's There's no decorating for it. They come in and set up tables.
Mostly
People,
just
they
getting
decorate,
the
they
vendor,
decorate,
right?
exactly, and so, and it's been really successful using Apton to book that, so. It
I
takes
love the housing
a
fair.
lot of the.
This is
Housing and
free.
services, I
Free.
never in my life have wanted to buy another pen or.
All right, Stan, it's free,
Oh,
It's
good,
free,
so we gonna
let's move it.
do it?
you guys don't need to.
That all right with you? Let's move it.
Okay,
Thank you.
No, we don't wanna do it
I'll
on the
email Tina
third.
right now, she can
Yeah,
reserve it.
reserve it, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Good.
Friday.
Just 8 to 8,
Do Friday from like 2,
16.
okay, Friday to 2,
or Friday, like 1 PM to
till like,
Saturday night.
yeah, Saturday,
midnight.
10 PM or 11 PM, okay.
So Riley, you guys are still good to go?
Right, thanks, Stan.
I love it, I love the idea that, and then that you look to see when kids are out of school, that's.
That was a great
That's
idea, yeah,
smart,
that was good.
yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that, so thank you,
Of course, it's a group effort.
you know.
We really wanted to have an opportunity for families.
Yeah,
And it's kind
yeah,
of a
what it's
perfect
all
thing.
about,
What are we gonna kill the day with kids around school, so.
yeah. Okay, all right, very good, anything else on that, or can we?
We can move on.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah.
One thing that is not on the agenda, I want to be sure and mention is that Mark Elliott has resigned from the board. And is because of conflicts with to his timing and the Concord Center and, you know, one thing and another, but wishes us all well, and he was a great addition to the board while he was here, but. Right now, Rochelle is trying to get in touch with the person who had sent an application in, I think at the time that you
Is
did.
it accountant?
Yeah,
Yeah, the accountant.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and she's trying to get in touch with her to see if she would like to still come on, because that's a viable opportunity at this point. If not, then she'll be advertising the seat, right? And it'll be until next year, and then they have to go for their own term. Yeah, at least the way the bylaws are set right now. They could move.
I'm just curious, and I'm not suggesting we raise the red flag here, but is there, when there's a vacancy, it doesn't automatically trigger a recruitment? If we have someone on a wait list, we can just say they're in versus does the county require, or NCPRD rather require us to post and re-recruit? You know what I mean? I mean, I'm, if we're asking for forgiveness rather than permission, so don't get me wrong, but.
We have to re-recruit,
You don't have.
however, within this particular situation, since he's vacated, resigned, it leaves his term open.
Oh, I
until-
see, so we can fill his term for his term,
Exactly.
not a new
For
term,
his
his term,
term.
Right,
okay, good.
Yeah.
I am not a stickler for the rules nerd either.
You do this.
I'm sorry, I just didn't.
Okay, well, and Rochelle, you know, keep me posted, we'll keep the board posted, and. You know, you may have someone new at your next meeting, or maybe a month or two, so we'll see how things go. We may get the image with others, so thank you for that. And speaking of that type of thing, so. We have talked about having some updates on the bylaws, especially when it comes to term limits and. Making it not as kind of. Ambiguous, I guess, as it is right now, but then also. We've talked about having a goal setting session, and we are now at the point, I've been talking to Kia, the NCPRD director. And Marty, and, you know, talking about what's our next step, what can we do, so. Kia said, okay, if you do this goal setting session, what are you looking for? What kind of outcomes do you want? And that's right, I asked Michelle if she would print this page of the bylaws. Because it has those 4 items under Article 2 regarding what our responsibilities are. And I wondered if any of you have any thoughts on what you, at this point, do you have any thoughts on what you'd like to come away from a goal setting meeting with as far as this board's concerned? Then the other question is, when would we have this? We've talked about maybe having an extended board meeting on the day we generally have our board meeting. But of course, we'd have to make sure that that worked with Kia and NCPRD. I think she included Candy Ho, and there was somebody else, Marty. Do you remember?
probably Jessica.
Who?
That was, might have been Jessica, who's the admin person.
Yeah,
Now it's for the
yeah, and
scheduling
Jessica's
part.
trying to find a date for us. But my query is, would we wanna try, if we can get a facilitator on that date, would we wanna have it on a regular board meeting date, maybe it's an elongated time? And or are we okay with finding a different date? And we're looking at January at this point. So, and of course, the weather could be dicey too, so we have to take that into consideration.
Snows, I mean.
So dots on the whole thing, yeah. Anybody? Don't,
Can I suggest, I mean, I know there's things always going on, but what if we just used our time for the scheduled January meeting as a full setting retreat? And have that as a sole agenda item?
so for just an hour, just keep it at.
Well, I mean, you could extend the time, but I'm saying versus doubling up,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
we could just use the time.
No, if the county could provide a facilitator for that day, that would be
Yeah.
the one question, so.
What type of facilitator, what do you mean? Well, that's what
Well,
you're talking about.
he and I talked about that a little bit way back when I had, a couple months ago when I had my first meeting with her. And the county, it could even be Kia, it could be an actual mediator and facilitator that the county has on staff, because they have those, so. I would say, keep it as homey and comfortable and, and easy as possible, and I like the idea of having Kia maybe take us through. Those discussions, like, okay, if the bylaws say your purpose is XYZ, what are you doing to work on that purpose? How are you reaching that? So, and there may be some things that we don't need to be that involved in, so how do we facilitate that? So that's kind of where my head is at the moment, but it still could be that you and I and Kia need to sit down and have more of a person-to-person conversation and brainstorm some things.
So my sort of understanding, it's just opening up emails this
Sure.
morning, so.
Oh,
Is that Kia was sort of under the thought that this board should come up with what they believe their roles and goals should be, coming up ongoing. And how they relate to the bylaws, and then once the group here kind of has an understanding or a direction, then she was gonna meet Kia with us, or with Wilda and myself and Candy, or maybe the whole board, I'm not sure, but. So she kind of wanted the board to kind of figure out where they were going, and then, or where they wanted to go, and then from that conversation at the board meeting. Have a conversation of how that relates to the operations of the Parks District.
So I would suggest, and you guys, hey, chime in if it's not what you've been thinking too, that. In a sense, we've already done that, we did that a year or so ago when we had that. Goal setting where we wrote down everything we could think of, and then it was put under those 5 areas and whatever, but it's like. Okay, we have all these things that at that point in time, we thought were important under. Those areas, can we relate that to the bylaws? Is that what we're supposed to be doing? Are these the kinds of things that are viable for us, and how do we accomplish them? I mean, for instance, the marketing, of the fact that we are an all-age center, well, we're pretty much doing that in everything we do, but we're additionally doing that as a board. By taking on the responsibility of having this 45th anniversary party. That might not have happened if we hadn't done this in the beginning and said, what do we need to do for all these things? We put the mural up, we're gonna do a mural inside, those kinds of things have come. From us having these discussions, over a year ago, and continuing to refer back to them, to those points.
So
I don't know how to bring it together, that's
So
my
maybe,
problem.
well, then maybe it's every January, or we concentrate every January, annually, we concentrate our. January board meeting on revising and looking at the goals, revising and finding the goals.
Absolutely.
And then once we do that, then we can share with admins, with our NCPRD admin. What the goals for the coming year. Let's say, with obviously flexibility, but this is kind of what we're looking at. as it relates to the bylaw, I mean, the bylaws are super vague for the most part. Which they should be, by
Well,
design,
and that's why we ended up with
Right.
60 some.
so,
items
you know,
here.
maybe we have that, and we revisit it in January, and then we come up with. 6 priorities
Yeah.
and
I-
Five.
top 5 that are
Or
active,
four.
you know, maybe.
I'm all for fewer
And
priorities,
maybe-
something you know you can achieve.
You know, maybe there's 3 that are really easy and one that's more challenging, that's gonna take more work, cause I mean, there's only so much work.
That's exactly what I had in mind, Marty, but I also feel that it behooves us to have an actual facilitator, not one of us, lead that discussion. Does that make sense? And
A facilitator would be great, I do agree.
Yeah.
We can see.
I mean, they can take us into areas that we might not,
Yeah.
think about or and how do we, are we looking at how do we achieve what's in the bylaws in that first and second section through these goals, or are they independent of each other? Yeah, Jill.
Well, I was, my only thought with the facilitator, at least to go through the county is, I mean, having gone through several of those now. With the county facilitator, it's not a one meeting process.
Yeah, and that's what I'm.
And even if we told them to streamline it, I don't know. I'm not entirely convinced that we couldn't come up with something on our own. As far as a top 5, for example, because I think we've done the hard work, I mean, the
Yeah,
list may need to
I
be
think
crunched a little
Pretty
bit.
much all here.
But I think we have that, and then, I don't know why, I mean, my thought would be maybe you spend this January, every January, doing it. I mean, the first one may be a little more challenging, because we have to come up with our own framework, but if we come up with some sort of straw polling, whatever, we can do it ourselves, we just have that on our agenda.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that. And I need you guys' help. I need you to look at these 2 pages and say, this is important to me. I think I can help facilitate that, or I don't think we need to get involved in that, or hey, we've got Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts doing that. It's not.
So,
Yeah, I, for a while, I was trying to keep it updated, and Rochelle built a wonderful spreadsheet in Excel, but then I couldn't read it right. I couldn't enter my info right. I didn't know what was going on. I failed at that with Rochelle.
Yeah.
But what I need, and I think would help us facilitate what we're talking about now then, is just input from all of you guys, like, here's how I think this should go down, and here are the things, when we get to that point in January, then it's, here's what I think is important, here's what I think is, we could do it like ranked voice, ranked vote. Whatever.
Oh, I'm for that.
Ranked voice vote.
That's exactly what we should do for this list.
Yeah,
I think so, it applies,
Yeah.
it'll whittle it down, versus everyone just saying, this is my favorite, this is my favorite. this is my
Yeah.
favorite.
yeah, and that's exactly how goals become
We're
reality.
not electing people, we're just going through his list.
Exactly, no, yeah, so. Are you all good with that? I'll look at the call.
I totally agree with what Joel said. I think we can do it ourselves. I think we can.
Okay.
We should do it annually. I think it's a good deal.
I love that
We spend
idea.
so much time talking and no action, so I think we have a list, whether we, first meeting, we do that, we all come to the meeting with our top 5. And maybe we, from that point, we do our own rank voting. And the
There
first
you
meeting
go.
will take a little more time.
Yeah.
But then, we're fulfilled.
Later.
And we go through and then, we have a conversation, if we have a tie for 5, 6, and 7, we have a conversation.
Right.
Yeah, so once we do it once, I think we're gonna find it a lot easier.
I think so
If it's
too.
on the agenda-
Well, and also what we can eliminate from this list, because it doesn't, it's not in our venue.
It's down the road too. But I
Okay.
think also, other than the approving the minutes from a prior meeting, we don't have any administrative duties we have to accomplish at January 13th.
Exactly, we gotta stay focused.
Right. Yeah,
It's
Okay.
real easy to get.
I love it. That sounds really great. Is everybody in on that?
Yes,
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
I'll quickly just
Right.
add something that I know we're gonna be doing. Into this, something that helps me with exercises like this is thinking about what goals are specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and timely.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's some in
Well,
there that I'm like,
and
they're
some
they're a
of
little
you-
vague and
Yeah, and I
use
think-
massaging, but some are
Or
very
they
specific.
require money and we don't have it.
Well,
Yeah,
that's true too.
and there are 2 full pages of it, so make sure you have both pages.
So we're going, we're gonna agree on 5,
Yeah.
is that the goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, is everybody good with that? 5 of these things or an iteration of them.
There might be some that you could find.
And that's a thought too, what can you combine and what can you, like I said, take off of? Cause it's not our business,
Yeah.
kind of thing, right? You know, so like, there are some things that we wanna stay apprised of. But we're not gonna like have a committee that gets in there and works on it and does it. Ben, are you good with that?
Yep.
Okay, all right, I like it.
Got unmuted and just thumbs up.
What's that?
Thought I was muted, but maybe not. No, I'm not. Okay. I was just giving a thumbs up because I thought I was muted.
Got it, yeah, thank you, Ben. Okay, 5 goals, see what else needs to be eliminated. We'll do it ourselves, we'll make it an annual January event. This board goes through their functions to see, does it still work, does it still fit?
Will you email out the previous goals? For the.
Yeah, Rochelle, can you make sure that everybody gets
Of course.
a copy of that, the 2 pages, yeah. Sometimes in our packet, there's only 1 page, and not sure how that happens. Yeah, so, thank you guys, that was great, I much appreciated. Very good, so
And then
I will
we'll
send an email to you and Kia and let her know that we're not gonna use a facilitator. That we're gonna do this annually and that we invite her to attend and, you know, be in the room if she wants to.
if you'd like to, otherwise we'll have a meeting after. That you and Kia and I can have a meeting to discuss. If she's
Yeah.
not able to make the planning meeting, we'll meet later in January.
Oh, yes, okay, that works, that works too.
And
Yeah.
so when you email her, copy in Jessica who's on there, he's the one that will,
And I will get in touch with Jessica, she's already sent me a note and said, let me find a date.
make sure it's
in January,
after
so I'll
the
let her know
second.
she doesn't have to do that.
Okay.
So, thank you guys very much, it was a great participation in this. It's now time for standing reports, so, we're gonna start with the foundation report, and I think some of us are anxious to hear about what's happening with the magazine. As well as how things are going in the events, and did everybody have their tickets for the Thanksgiving dinner?
Stand up, speak at once.
So there's still time to get your tickets.
Good,
But I'm just gonna tell you, I have 160 tickets not sold. I have 160, but we already have over 50 sold,
Nice.
and which is going around
and you're
quickly.
right,
And I
I
also,
bought 8 of them, I mean, not 8 of them, 5 of them.
there we go.
Yeah,
If you wanna, there's some of you pass some of those around. If you guys wanna keep some of those, pass those out to other people. You'll notice that the back side of that is also the donate dinner. So I dual purposed my flyers because they're both happening in November. And then if you know somebody or have a public facing business or something, we also have table tents. They're kind of cool, and this is one of the things that came up last month was that we needed the shelf stable meals for Meals on Wheels again,
oh, yeah.
which wasn't really in our budget. And it wasn't in the center's budget, and so we decided that we're gonna run donate dinner the full month and involve other businesses. Normally, donate dinner is something that we do with New Seasons just for the 8 days. We still are gonna do that campaign, but we are expanding that campaign because we're looking for ways to take care of those costs of the shelf stable meals. So that's the biggest part of that that's going on. But if you have some, I have more of these, if you know someplace, or if you know someplace, or you have your own place that you'd like to put some of those up, And I have more of those flyers as well, if you wanna pass them out. But it's kind of exciting to me, I don't know,
And Stan, and the new season's partnership, if you're available to volunteer during that
Yes,
time,
please.
that'd be very, very helpful.
And when is that? Oh, and I still can't get into any volunteer base on the internet. It just takes me straight to the donor page and that's it. So I haven't, I mean, I think Rebecca's had that problem in the past
Yeah.
too. No,
Bring your laptop. Let's meet out.
so if you,
you remember when I
if
was
in my
saying-
emails that I send to you, cause I know I send you also. Mary,
Yeah,
in my signature, there's a place that says donate here or volunteer here.
yeah.
If
and
you
I
click
checked-
the volunteer here link, it should take you to their site. If it doesn't, you and I can get together and I'll see if I can get that resolved for you.
There was one deal on the website the other day, I clicked the button to donate, and your predecessor popped up. As being, there's one of those pages
Wow.
in there, that's your predecessor as the foundation chair, yes.
That was through NCPRD's website.
One of the.
Yeah,
One of the links.
No, it's not. It's an old page. So our old pages get archived. And so they can still be pulled up on the internet, but
Not
not actually
deleted.
on the,
oh, is that what it is?
yeah.
So it's, but it's
old
archived
information.
from the old site.
Yes, it's archived.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got to that page.
I know, yeah. It's a.
When, oh my gosh, my brain dead, our volunteer coordinator.
Joseph.
Joseph.
Yeah, when he sends me something and I try to go to volunteer or what the events are, I can't get there, it just takes me to the donate page. So,
I'll see if I can help you out with that.
okay.
Alright. We also, we've got a lot of the volunteers, but we still are looking for volunteers for, if you wanna come and help with Thanksgiving dinner as well. But the biggest one, I think that we have the most vacancy in is donate dinner, and it's
Is that
a
hanging out at?
couple 3 hours going and
Market?
hanging out at New Seasons. We'll have a table, we'll have the big displays, and we'll have the things to hand out. You don't have to take any money. It's designed so that you hand that out. It has actually the ones that we use at New Seasons has a New Seasons barcode that when the shopper can walk through and just scan it, and it's it'll do a meal, or you
Yeah.
can choose how much more you want to
So
do.
What's
when,
the date
when
of
is
the
that?
season's event?
8 days before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, if you want to.
Is it one
Yeah.
day or is it over? a
Well,
few
people
days?
should-
It's for 8 days.
Yeah, for 8 days.
Oh, so
But
after
I
you
thought
do
you
this
were
every
doing
day
it
for
for the
8
entire
days.
So I
month.
believe it's the,
No, you don't have to do every day.
I mean,
no.
That's
But
that's
that's
not
yeah,
the
we
deal.
are, yes, that is
Yeah.
correct,
Yeah.
that is correct. And so I believe that starts like on the 18th. 18th or 19th, I'll double check.
Okay, it's gonna go for the 27th.
But what
before.
Lance
before,
was saying
right.
was that we're to pay for meals.
Yes,
Is it like a certain time of day or is it all day?
so we have
Yes,
different
table?
shifts throughout the day, so we have an early shift and a
It's
late
like
shift,
12 o'clock.
I think he
midday
tried,
till
he tried to,
3,
he tried to break it down to 2, I think it needs to
2 hour
be 3.
shifts.
I finally got the packet from Meals on Wheels people in New Seasons, where they split it up into 2-hour increments, and there's like 4 during the day. So I'm gonna get together with our New Seasons over here and make sure that we're doing it the way it was gonna work out best for them.
Yeah.
But right now,
Once I can get to the volunteer site, I might be able to help. But
you can always just send Joseph an email and say, I can do it at this time. They should
But
be-
they might already have somebody at that time.
Well,
On the
here's
website.
He can check it for you too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
and
that's-
he'll, yeah, he could do
He
that.
could pull
Yeah.
the calendar and sign it.
Yeah, I just wanna be sure I can get in to find out what some of the opportunities are, because I haven't been able to do any of that.
Okay, we'll get you taken care of.
Yes, thank you.
Let's see, donate dinner. Oh, you will be seen soon. Our annual campaign is also launching. So you'll either be seeing an email or snail mail or
Or both.
or both, we might see both. Just, be watching for those. I really appreciate
Campaign for.
the annual campaign for the foundation. The thing about these, the Thanksgiving dinner and donate dinner, those are all specifically going to Meals on Wheels only. It's not just, we run the fundraiser, but we don't keep any of those funds.
Right. Yeah, it's important for folks.
Did you say about the meals?
Yes,
Let's switch off.
Yeah.
What do you mean
that's why we were doing donate dinner for the full month, is for the shelf stable meals, which I wrote the check for.
Yes.
Stable for yesterday or whatever it was, and they're supposed to be delivered this week, right? Said, did they come in, do you know?
I don't believe they have.
Okay. She was expecting them earlier this week, so I just wanted to go check. Trying to think. We're not meeting in December.
Your foundation.
Yeah. Our board's gonna take December off. Oh, connection, does, like you said, it does appear that we're going to have a January, February, and who knows, possibly even a March, April, I'm not sure. They've had some delay on the other end, so I did get confirmation from Eagle Printing that the numbers that he gave me were correct. That he had actually mistyped. There was he had sent Melina the wrong numbers accidentally, so.
It's all getting straightened out.
It's all good
And
straight.
we've got at least two more
One at
full
least two.
function.
And I'm pretty pleased with this one. I don't know if you've looked at it yet, but it's
I love that our magazine has lots of pictures. I mean, I think that's important. People like to see people they know and themselves.
and I think
Can I say that we made $3,177 at the March tournament?
Oh, very good. Nice, nice.
3,177. Wow,
Yeah.
I think it was 39 cents, but leave that between you. Right.
Very good.
I just looked on, Stan's going to obviously talk differently about it, but at the moment, the options for being at a New Seasons are noon till 3:15 and 3 until 6:15.
right. So when he set it up, he set it into 3 hour,
Yeah,
2-3 hours instead of 2 hours.
Right.
okay, yeah. Well, I'd probably be interested in helping, but I've got to do early shifts and I've got to find out just what they are.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, that'd be great to have some other board members there to help out.
We are still doing bingo. We have no more Tuesday night bingo during this month because they were already rented out before we started doing that.
Right, because.
So there's no more Tuesday bingo this month. Next one, I think, is December 7th, is that, I think that's correct. We have started selling beer and wine at bingo. So we got our license and everything in place. I didn't advertise it anywhere. I just kind of did a soft launch.
Mhm.
Trying to work out the logistics and make sure that we can do it in a way that, and we don't really have any volunteers to do that yet. I've been doing it the whole time, so we're just trying to see how that's all gonna work, and I'm just developing procedures so that when the time for volunteers to come in, I can work that out. Because you don't have to be OLCC certified.
Oh, you don't?
Nope. Because
I thought
we're a
it was
nonprofit.
so- Oh, we did.
We're a nonprofit. All you have to do is read the form and read and sign it,
Okay,
and then you can serve.
great.
So
Good. Okay. Thank you. Good report. Always good to hear what's going on with the foundation and how we can help that. District Advisory Committee, Joel,
We're meeting next week.
next week. Okay. Keep us posted.
Yeah, and in fact, I'll brought some of these foundation things, but if there's anything else.
It'd be great, I mean, to mention the volunteering for the 8 days.
That's,
And
yeah,
yeah,
I've got notes for this, and I'll take some goodies too. In fact, I might grab some of those for you.
Yeah.
Got boxes of them.
Okay, Sarah, you ready to, for recreation and program committee report?
So we've had a really good month with our attendance. So we did our second teen night. It was on, in October, it was a Halloween themed teen night. And those are really building momentum. We've had, we started out with like 29 and now we've got 35 and slowly we're getting more and more. Our cap is 50 kids, just literally the amount of staff that we have in the building. But they're growing and kids are really having fun and really enjoying themselves. It's fun to see a kid come in with not knowing anybody, and then they leave with like 4 new best friends. And so that's been super heartwarming for me. Also our Halloween bash was a huge success. We had 575 people here. It was more than we expected, and it was a little like, how are we gonna transition to the movie part of this event? So, but it worked out really well. A lot of people had fun. Candy was a huge hit with all the kids. And I know the foundation sold out of all of
That's
your
right,
food, right?
If I may interject,
Yeah.
it was a lot more than we expected
Yeah.
to, because we sold out of all of our Polish dogs, all of our hot dogs, all of our
That's good.
popcorn. It was all, we did over $500 just in the snack bar.
Yeah.
That's a nice problem to have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you for all of our sponsors. I know the foundation sponsored candy, I know the Rotary of Milwaukie sponsored, and so yes, it was great.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
Let's see, what else? Oh, fall registration numbers are up. Winter registration is actually right around the corner. It's opening up for in-district residents on December 3rd. And then the 10th for out of district. So we expect that those classes are going to be as popular too. We've actually introduced new classes. We have a intro to fermenting class. So there's one for vegetables, which is like doing sauerkraut, kombucha, and then winter vegetables. We, when the system plan came back, a lot of people wanted more cooking classes. So we're really trying to
That's cool.
bring that to the community. Yeah. We're also gonna be doing, coming up a big team swim at night at the aquatics park too. So you'll see more information about that. But our winter programs, we're also doing, we've been asked to do more youth classes. And so we are introducing a new Melodies in Motion. It's a youth dance class. And so it's kind of yoga and dance and in kind of a movement class for the younger crowd. And let's see, we also have our winter celebration coming up on December 7th. So that's gonna be an exciting event. So if you don't have any plans, come check it out. There's a little bit more information on the back of this guide right here.
But what happens at that event? What's it all about?
So that event is basically we're sharing a lot of different ways, different cultures and different countries celebrate winter, and not just the Christmas holiday, but also just winter in general. So yeah, so we highlight a different like craft or activity for a different part of the world in different cultures. Yeah.
it's been really popular.
Yeah, we typically had about 600 people at that event, and so
Great entertainment, great food. I mean, it is.
we had Norwegian dancers last year. And then we've had drum music and different things like that. So
Oh, fun. Sounds good. Okay, anything else, Sarah, or is that all?
that's it for now.
All right, thank you so much. Ben, facility and rental, anything?
We met in October, so I guess I reported that last month, and our next meeting would be, let's see, November, would be in January, I think. November, December, yeah, quarterly. The next meeting would be January before, the Wednesday before our meeting.
You gotta do it on the computer.
Oh, am I not? Am I still muted?
Oh, you're loud.
Okay.
Oh,
Down.
sorry.
It's not your fault.
I'm talking quietly.
Yeah.
I can,
Make
I
sure
can
it's
fade it.
and, thank you, Ben.
I have.
Oh, Virginia, yeah, thank you so much.
Does the center have an ant problem?
We are getting rid of the ants in the Cam's dogwood room.
Well,
And
I
just
saw
hit 'em
some in the women's bathroom.
He just this week did outside the whole building, so I'm hoping that's gonna help. But yeah, there is a ant problem.
And when I was at
And we have them in my house, so I can have it done.
That time of year, all the sugar.
when I was doing Zumba, there was a whole pile of dead ants that was so kind of upsetting people. Cause they'd been there on Monday and they were still there on Wednesday.
I know.
So anyway,
Sounds like stuff needs to be.
Where were they? I mean, in the chemist room? Or in the bathroom?
no, in where we do Zumba,
The big room with mirrors.
Yeah.
I know he's been working on that
Oh,
this week, so hopefully they're on and they will come back.
okay.
But we'll keep, if we can't get it taken care of, we'll call an exterminator. But try to
You
keep
need
that.
the name of a good pest company?
Maybe.
I got one. Yeah, they're great.
And we have to come in every 3 months. Just big the house, you know, worry about it.
And Axum has given us sponsorship money.
Accent.
Oh, that's who I was gonna recommend.
Yeah.
Axiom is great, and they are great community partners too, and I get lots of information from them about what's going on in the community. And everything, but, and the thing I like about them for a house, I don't know how it would be for here, is if they came and they treat my ants, and then the next week I still have ants, they'll come back as many times as they need to and never charge me for it. So I haven't, you know, don't just have an ongoing contract with them, and I've never paid more than the contract. Which I appreciate so much, because ants, bees, not bees, hornets. Yeah, rodents.
Has there ever been a problem before?
Not like this one, not in the Camas Dogwood area, in the kitchen area, and then the Pete's Cafe we've had.
Yeah,
I have a few in the snack bar area too.
Is that where?
that makes
Oh,
sense
snack
too,
area,
doesn't
okay.
it? Yeah.
Came across
We
that.
got a good nest somewhere around here.
It is the season.
Okay, well, enough about all the rodents and ants and. Marty, what do you got for us
All right.
today?
Not a whole bunch to add, but I do want everyone to know. Coming up this holiday season, we do fill a stocking again, and what that is it's program that allows folks to donate items to people. We participate in it, and we give stockings to most of our Meals on Wheels participants. And a lot of that comes from the community donating different stuff, so you can bring in, there's a list, you can bring in stuff that's up front there, you can take a stocking, fill it, bring it back. And then they make these stockings, we give them all the stuff, the volunteers that make the stockings, and they bring it back, we usually supplement them with some things for our people, and then we hand them out early.
Is the list available?
I believe so, I think it's, that's really nice, amazing to deliver those, people are very thankful to get those gifts. Also, on December 18th, we have a holiday brunch here, which is the regular work day. I think it's a Wednesday, and we do it just a little early, and just have a nice brunch here for everybody who's comes here. Who wants to
Is
participate.
that 10 o'clock?
I think it's, I don't know the time, but I think it's 11.
I remember it from past years, but I don't recall.
Yeah. But it'll be advertised. We really try to. We get usually about 75 to 100 people without really advertising it inside the building. We're not really trying to get the community at large here because we don't have that capacity. We're trying
Oh,
to
yeah.
celebrate the people that come here for lunch or for class or for, you can see it posted if you're in the center.
Okay.
Outside of that, everything's
Everything's good.
good. Yeah, we started the emergency firewood in October, which is pretty cool, and did a lot of LEAP applications for people, which I talked about last meeting. So they've been busy, still really busy with the Meals on Wheels and getting new clients and
Quick follow-up, so if the energy assistance program, applications are still being accepted, or is that?
I believe they're still being accepted, yeah. We do a push, but if people come and they need the help, we can still. Yeah. help with that.
Okay.
Great. All right, man, this is the first time we've ever done this. So that's interesting.
I believe
It's time for public comment. If there's anyone in the general public that would have a comment on anything that is not on the agenda of the Milwaukie Community Center Advisory Board, now is the time that they can come before us. I do not see anyone in the room, nor do I see that there's anyone on Zoom that would like to speak. So we appreciate that they have that opportunity. Members' comments, anything for the good of the order, or, you know, how's everybody doing? What's going on? How's life? You know, I mean, this is the first time we finished. How we doing?
I'll just say that we're starting up on the tax program.
Oh, yeah, getting ready for
I'm
that.
getting the volunteers to do the scheduling, and it's in. So that will start February the 4th.
And when do you open up for, when does that open up for registration or?
Historically, we always do the day after MLK Day, which is late this year, so it'll be January the 21st.
That flips up.
That will be the chaos 4 days.
I'm good. Anything else? Pretty good. Or if not, I will take a motion to adjourn. Somewhere. I made a second on that. Ready for it. Goodbye. Next month, we'll be back.
I have a coffee shop in Lansing, yes, we'll take some money.
Next meeting, December 13th.
Adjourned.
Yeah.
Marty, do you want me to go see it?
Oh, you guys are great.
If Malia, or Maria can be.
Yeah. I think we'll-
AK volunteer.
Riley, we'll just take a 5-minute recess and then we'll reconvene.
I picked some DAC into